Hello, what is up, my friend? Welcome back to the Equal and Live Balanced podcast. I have to talk about it because I am just so excited. If you are someone who loves fall, this is it. I am thriving in this fall weather. I feel like summer absolutely sucked. I guess it really depends on where you live, but here in Ohio, this summer I don't feel like I got to take advantage of it hardly at all. It was just kind of chilly, honestly, until I started traveling. And then I had like 3 weeks to travel in the matter of 6 weeks, came home. By the time I was home, it was disgustingly hot and humid and just very rainy. And I'm like, this is not fun. This is not exciting. I want to get out. It was too hot to take the dogs hiking this summer, which is really sad and really unfortunate. And I have all this stuff for camping. So that was also very sad. But I digress. That's not the point of today's podcast. I just want to throw that out there because I cannot wait to start diving into all things fall when it comes to like the recipes and the coffees. I won't lie. I've already had my first pumpkin cold brew. So maybe a couple of them, but who's counting? And you can't convince me otherwise that even starting that in August is too early. So I'm a firm believer that fall should be like 6 months. But anyways, once again, I digress. Not the point of today's podcast. And I'm just glad that you're coming on here because today we're going to get real about something that a lot of ambitious women feel, but honestly rarely admit. You know, that feeling when you're showing up to your workouts, you're doing all the things, right? You're kind of eating okay, honestly, probably even a little bit better than just okay, and nothing seems to change. Nothing seems to work. Your body feels heavy. It feels sluggish. Your energy dips. And you start wondering if all this effort you're putting in is even worth it. And maybe you've caught yourself thinking, am I broken? What am I doing wrong? Am I ever going to be successful? Am I ever going to reach my goals? And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not broken. You can reach your goals. You're just stuck in a cycle that's not actually working for you. And today we're going to unpack that and why that happens. And more importantly, how you can start moving forward, because that's what matters, right? I can throw all of this information at you, but if you don't know what good is that doing for you? And I'll start by asking this. So of course I have a question for you first. Have you ever finished a workout and thought, well, I guess I did it, but why do I feel the same? Or maybe you've hit your goal weight or close to it and still feel stuck, like your body just won't cooperate no matter what you do, no matter how much work you put into it, and you just feel frustrated. If that's you, you are not alone. I can promise you that. I have been there. I have done that. I have experienced it many, many times, unfortunately. And if you stick with me for the next, 15, 20-ish minutes, I want to help you understand why this happens and how to actually break through it and how to start feeling strong, feeling capable, and just confident in yourself and your decisions and your actions and everything that you're doing without punishing yourself or turning your life into a full-time diet or cardio grind or, whatever you think is going to get you the results. Because if you've done that, you already know those things aren't sustainable and they're going to end up being temporary for you. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to unpack that. Okay. Coffee in hand and everything. It's actually a decaf coffee because this is in the afternoon. I'm recording the podcast in the afternoon and we're not doing caffeine. No caffeine afternoon. But also, if you know anything about me, you guys know I've been on my decaf grind just because I like the taste of coffee. But anyways, once again, sidetrack, squirrel. I want to unpack this with you and I want to talk about why these things aren't working or it may not be working for you, right? And the first one's going to be the inconsistency in movement. Maybe you're hitting the gym a few times a week, or maybe it's more sporadic than that, or maybe you're doing the same workout routine over and over and over. Here's the deal. Your body is smart. You got to give it credit, okay? It adapts. That is what the human body is meant to do. It is meant to adapt. If it's not challenged in new ways, your results are going to stall. And yes, that's science, but also it's kind of annoying, right? Because it's like once you get good at something, it's like, I need to change it up. Now, let me clarify this because the first thing that a lot of people are going to think is that they need these elaborate workouts and you don't. Okay, you need simplified. But what we're talking here is just like consistency in a matter of like you going to the gym and you doing these things, but also a consistency in pushing your body as far as like progressive overload, right? You don't need new exercises every week. Adapting is a good thing, right? But once you get to the point of adaptation, you need to push your body beyond those limits, right? So say, for example, right, you're overhead pressing 15 pounds. If those are easy and you've been doing them for 10 reps for who knows how long, one, we should be progressing to something that's that's a little bit more challenging, whether that is increasing the weight a little bit, whether it's increasing the reps, whether it's slowing down the reps by increasing your time under tension, whether it's changing up the form, it's, isolating the upper body and taking out the lower body, whatever it may be, right? There are different ways to go about that. It does not mean that you need to be switching your exercises every single week, because if you cannot implement that progressive overload, be consistent with it, you're going to run into the same issue. You also might be overdoing the wrong things. Okay, so this one, I see it all the time. Over restricting your calories, crushing endless amounts of freaking cardio, trying to burn it off. Stop. Because guess what? That usually just leaves you feeling so much more exhausted, hangry, and frustrated. Not stronger, not leaner. Like, what really, honestly, as I say this, I'm like, wow, what good actually comes of that? I'm not saying that there's not a time and a place for cardio or for, reducing calories and putting yourself in a calorie deficit, because there is. There 110% is. But we are talking about this whole idea and concept of like, oh, the answer is just to eat less and move more. No, that is not how it always works. Okay. I'll raise my hand because your girl pretty much did years and years of research on herself to let you know it doesn't work that way. Now I've spent some time and am continuing, right? Because I think it's a lifelong journey, but spent a lot of time reversing the damage that I did by doing those things. And overdoing those things could be causing you more harm and could be what's holding you back. Take being in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, over restricting your calories. You're not going to enjoy it, okay? Because most of us don't enjoy cutting out all of these foods or not being able to eat or being hungry 24/7. My soul loves cookies. And if I can never have a cookie, like, what's the point? But also, your body needs calories for fuel. It needs calories to repair, to recover. And that is how you build muscle tissue. That is how you change body composition, right? The more muscle you have on the body, metabolism is working, right? The higher metabolic rate you've got. So there are things like that that we should be remembering. You also might be just ignoring recovery. And this is a part that no one really likes to talk about. You think recovery is optional. Once again, we feel like, oh, I just need to do more. I need to move more. I need to push my body more. No, sleep, rest days, and managing your stress are not indulgence. They are necessary, and they're essential when it comes to having progress or to seeing results. And I'm going to tell you that skipping these things is like trying to grow a plant in the dark with no water. Sure, maybe it'll survive for a temporary period of time, but it sure as heck is not going to thrive. And coming from someone who thought she thrived on 4 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep, I will say that when COVID hit and, we were all out of work, I remember those first few days being home and sleeping for like 8 or 9 hours, waking up and being like, what happened? My body was not thriving on 4 to 5 hours. My body was used to sleeping on 4 to 5 hours, but it sure as heck was not thriving. That's just what I was used to. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I was a whole different person when I was waking up on 7, 8 hours of sleep. I actually think the first couple of nights were 6 hours, and I was just like shocked at how different I felt. So remember, recovery is not optional. It is necessary. Ooh, and then the fourth one is a really big one that no one likes to hear, and that is unrealistic expectations, because sometimes you need a little lens shift. Progress isn't always huge and obvious. So maybe your lifts are heavier, your posture is better, or your workouts feel easier. Maybe you're not resting as much between exercises. But if you're only noticing what hasn't changed or looking at the negatives, you're missing all of the wins that you already have. And the things that we look for. So if you were looking for those negatives or the things you have not achieved, those are the things you're going to continue to find. Once again, you can't have an optimistic outlook or mindset when you're searching for the negatives or you're pointing out the negatives and being pessimistic. It just does not work that way. Now, what you probably really want to know is how to break through that plateau. So maybe you are feeling stuck, but now what? I'm going to tell you that there's some good news. There are concrete things that you can be doing to start moving yourself forward. You aren't stuck. What you're doing is probably keeping you stuck, but it doesn't mean that you can't see progress and you can't see results. So maybe you need to start with your training, switching up your workouts. There is a difference between working out and training, and your body loves a challenge. If you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again for months, it's time for a change. And by that, and once again, a proper training program is not going to be different every single week. Heck, it may not even be different every 4 to 6 weeks. But making sure that you are pushing yourself and there is a strategy behind what you are doing. You are not just showing up and doing whatever you feel like, whenever, a ton of different moves, 12 to 15 different exercises every single workout. Maybe you even need a whole new style of training because maybe what you're doing isn't actually working for you. So just some small changes might be significant when it comes to your training, when it comes to pushing your body and pushing your limits. Also, you're going to need to prioritize your recovery. So your sleep, your stress management, your rest days, these are non-negotiables. I say this like your coach. Like I'm just going to be straight out honest with you. Once again, as somebody who took no rest days, as somebody who used to run 3 to 5 miles before every single workout 6 days a week, and then I would work out in the gym for at least 2 hours. Your rest days are essential. But I also say it as your friend who's been there and knows that skipping sleep never ends well. Your muscles, your hormones, even your brain need that downtime to reset and grow stronger and feel fresh. You also want to make sure that you are fueling your body smart. Forget the extremes, forget the diets. We're not doing crash diets. We're not skipping meals. We're not cutting out food groups unless you have an allergy or an intolerance that you really like. Those things are important. Consistent, balanced fuel is what makes workouts feel good and gives you energy that actually lasts. And yes, I know sometimes grabbing chips at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we have plantain chips here and they are so good. But I'm like, no, not at 2 p.m. Those things seem easier. Trust me, I get it, but there's a better way that doesn't make you regret it later. I'm not saying you should never have those things because you should, because once again, I love cookies. What is life without cookies? But you also need to make sure that you are fueling your body because if I'm having a cookie, I'm not restricting my life or cutting out other things in other areas. And then the last one, track the wins. Small ones, celebrate them. Not everything shows up on the scale or in the mirror immediately. Celebrate lifting heavier weight, moving with more ease. Maybe you have less pain, improved body posture position, or simply just feeling less strained. Maybe you have more energy. Maybe you're less stressed. Maybe an intense situation didn't stress you out as much, or you didn't like spiral like you usually would. Progress is progress, no matter how small it is. And once again, if you are constantly looking for those negatives, you are going to find them. You're not going to find the positives in a negative mindset. And of course, there's a mindset piece to all this, which, if I'm being honest, is often the missing aspect or the missing part for most people, because feeling stuck is not a failure. It's your body's way of saying that you need a better approach, a smarter approach, one that fits you. You shouldn't be punishing yourself. You should be pausing and checking in with your body and ask yourself what it actually needs. You should be curious about your patterns, your habits. Where's the friction? What's working? Then you can find out what's not working, and celebrating progress that isn't immediately obvious. You got to treat your body like a partner, not a project, not one that you hate. Seriously, if your workouts are like a chore, your body will feel like a chore. I'm not saying that you're going to love every single thing that you're doing in your program and that your training is going to be perfect and you're going to love every second of it, because you're not. It's going to be hard, and you should be working on your weaknesses, right? Not always your strengths. And how many of us would raise our hands to work on our weaknesses every single week all the time? I know I wouldn't. Do I want to get better at them? Yeah, but it doesn't feel 100% great every single time when I'm trying to chest press, because I freaking hate chest press. It's a weakness for me, but I'm going to do it because I want to get better. But it doesn't mean I love it every single time, every moment. But if you work with your body, not against it, movement becomes enjoyable. The process, the journey becomes more enjoyable, and the results start to actually come a lot smoother or a lot easier. You don't feel like it's a job. You don't feel like it's a chore. It starts to feel more like a habit. And this is actually, so if you are feeling stuck, remember that you are human. These things happen. And this is actually an opportunity to rethink your approach, reconnect with your body, with what you're doing, and start seeing results that actually stick, because your body is speaking to you when it is plateauing. It is telling you, hey, there needs to be a change. We need something different. And just start small. Be consistent. Listen to your body. And remember that every step counts. That is all that I have for you today. And as always, I appreciate you so much for listening. Thank you. We have a lot of exciting things going on here in the business right now. So if you are not following on social media, go make sure you follow me on Instagram. If you want to add me on YouTube or Facebook as well, awesome. But keep your eyes peeled just because there's so many exciting opportunities right now. And I am beyond excited for those. And I am enjoying every minute of getting to jump on here and just either share all the information, all the value, if it's a rant, if it's some tough love, it's sharing client stories, client wins, things like that. I am appreciating a space to do that to hopefully help you learn and grow and skip those mistakes that I've made, because that took a long time of my life and I wasted a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, and those things I will never get back. But as always, I appreciate you and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will chat next time.